Hi everyone, it's Di here from Di's Den, and this week I'd like to show you this card. I know we've done a card like this before. It was called a third fold card, but this time I'm doing one and I'm calling it a double third fold card. So I have a belly band on this one because it just needs it, but when you take the belly band off it looks very similar except that it's double. So when it stands up really pretty like this. So I'm going to show you how I did this one, and the belly band actually is better if you put it on from the top down, because then you can pop it over the join here in the middle and it will slide down nicely and hold that shut, where if you push it up you've got to hold those down to put it on. So I'm going to use some Stampin' Up products and some non-Stampin' Up product, mainly because I want to use up the things I've got, and as you all know, I might be a demonstrator, but it is a hobby for me. It's not a business, so I'm not breaking any rules because I'm not naming other products, but I'm just using them. Okay, so this is the card we're going to make, and I'm going to do another Christmas card. I did a Christmas card for the first one, and I'm going to do a Christmas card again. So let me show you what we're going to be using. I'll pop that one out of the way. For the card itself, very much similar to the other one. I have done a circle again for the middle, and it's the same size as the other one, which was the, let me get this layering circles over here. It was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th scalloped, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th of the plain circles in the Stampin' Up ones, which I will measure and tell you them. This is, get over there, a 2.5 inch circle and a 2 1/8 inch circle. So that's what we need for that. I haven't stamped that because I'm not doing stamping on the front. I will show you what we're going to be using. I'm using this set called Perfectly Plaid, which is retired, but I'm using it because I want this words. Hoping that your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer. And that's all I'm going to use out of there. I'm going to stamp in Cherry Cobbler, and I do like Stampin' Up inks because it does match their paper, and I do like their paper. So it's a good quality, and I love the way everything matches. If you did want to purchase from me, that's fine. I would not say no, but that is not my aim here. Okay, so I'm going to be using these peel-offs for my decoration. So I'm going to be using a Merry Christmas one, and this one that makes a Poinsettia Flower or leaves, which I stuck these onto some acetate and then cut around them so that I can then glue them together, stick them together like this to make my flower. So that's what I'm using for that. So let me show you what you're going to need for your card. So you're going to need a piece of card that measures 11 by 8 1/4, which means that if you live in the US with US paper, you can make this card without too much effort, and it still measures a 5.5 inch card. For my insert, I'm going to need a piece that measures 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and another piece that measures 5 by 5. For the outside, I need 4 pieces that measure 2.5 by 2.5, and 4 pieces of Designer Series paper that measure, and one of them doesn't, that one's not been cut. I will have to go away and cut that one. 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So give me a second, I'll be back. I'm back, and that now measures 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 like the rest of them. Okay, and then we need a belly band which measures 11 3/4 by 1 inch. Now if you're in America and you've got 11 inches, that's fine. Just add a small piece onto the end. You're not going to see, it's going to be behind your topper piece, so it won't show at all. Okay, so let's pop them out of the way, and let's start with this piece here. which is our main piece of card. We're going to bring in our scoreboard, and we're going to score this on the long side at 2 3/4 inches. I've not got that the correct way up. So with the small end, because the big end is for doing our designer series paper, and 8 1/4. And while we've got this here, we might as well mark this piece at 5 1/2 in the middle with our pencil. Okay, so now we're going to turn this with that mark to the side, this side of our board, because we're going to now score this at 2 3/4 inches again. 2 3/4 inches on the short side. We're then going to mark this at 5 1/2 there, and with our ruler just makes it easier, 5 1/2 down here. Okay, so we've got our piece of card, and that's the scoring we've done on our scoreboard. So we have 2 3/4, sorry, 8 1/4, turn it, and 2 3/4. So you have 2 squares at the top. You have 5 1/2, 5 1/2, and a 5 1/2. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use our stylus again, and we're going to, from that 5 1/2 inch mark up to that 5 1/2 inch mark, and you should be going through the center of our crossover here. If we're not, we need to double check our marks. So that's gone right through the center of that, and we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. Now for me it's just easier to go this way, so I'll go 5 1/2 down to the 5 1/2 inch mark, and if it doesn't go through there, you better make sure it does. Okay, and there it goes, and that went straight through the center again. Just if it doesn't line up, just check your measurements. Okay, now that we have our score lines in place, we're going to do our folding. So we're going to fold along this horizontal, yes, that's vertical, yeah, horizontal line. We're going to fold that over and give it a good burnish. We're going to fold in our side pieces in the same direction as the top. So we have, in retrospect, a gatefold card. We're going to pull this open, and I'm just going to rub those marks off now so that I don't forget them. Okay, once we've done that, we're now going to turn it over, and we're going to fold these the opposite way. And the other one the other way, the same as that. So we have that looks like an aeroplane shape or an arrow shape. These should match as well, and if they do, we've done everything correct. Okay, so popping that through like so, you'll see as this folds, it will fold in on these diagonal lines, and we're going to bring them down like so and give this a really good burnish now. We're going to burnish those lines really, really tightly on the inside as well. Oh my goodness, listen to that rain out there. So we're going to do these ones down this side here too. Oops, lift that on up. And we can give that a good burnish down there. That way our card is going to sit as flat as it's going to sit. And that is very much the card. So we're going to do our 4 panels on the front. Now if you have directional paper, make sure that you're when you cutting, that you get the direction the way you want it. If you've got like something like this has got some kind of direction on it. At the present time it doesn't matter which way around because these are all squares, but like on the other side it might be like stripes or something like that, and you want all your stripes or your diagonal stripes all the same way. Make sure that you cut them the same. As you saw my other card, which I'll bring in a second once I finish gluing these on. It had diagonal stripes. Oops. I'll just pop this one on here and I'll show you again. So with this one I wanted all my stripes to match, so they all went the same way. Now if you wanted them to go like haphazardly, that's fine. It's not that it's wrong, it's just, the way you wanted it. But just be aware that if you have a direction that it runs correctly, if that's what you want. Okay, so we're going to pop these onto the front. So I'm going to just check that these are all going the right way. Yep. I don't know, that one. Oh, that way I think. And we're going to glue these onto the front of our card. If you close your card nicely, you can see your border is around the four sides. Okay, as we're getting there quite nicely. That's my front. Now I've seen people turn this one back and do quarters, but to me I just didn't want to do that. So I'm going to pop that on one side for a minute and we're going to stamp our inside. And I'm using a colour that I find very vibrant. Oops, let's wipe that off. Let's get a tissue. I don't want to spoil my card. There we go. And I'm going to stamp this a little bit up so they can't be seen real well. And what I might do is actually, I'm just going to do these trees along the bottom, so I'm just going to go and get another block and some green. So bear with me a second. As I improvise along the bottom of this card. There we go. I improvised along the bottom of the card. Just gave it a little bit more depth, I guess. Okay, so we'll give that a few seconds to dry. And we'll pop this onto the layer. And pop this onto the inside of the card. inside of the card done. So now we're going to do our belly band. So for me, I'm just holding this around here, just over the middle, and I'm just going to just gently fold it around like so. I don't want it tight, I want it to be able to move. And as I say, if you only have 11-inch paper, just add a small piece in here, because this will be covered over so you won't see it. So it's not going to be, you know, like, oh my goodness, it's not going to work. So you just pop a little bit of thing down there and add probably 1.5 inches so that you've got, you know, your overlap there. So making sure that this now matches up, we're popping that onto there like so. While that's just drying there, we're going to glue these two pieces. Well, we're going to pop these things on first. We'll get our Merry Christmas off of here, if I can. Come on, move. There we go. Once I get it moving, I usually have no problems, but who knows? You can never tell. Some days are diamonds and some days are stones, as the saying goes. Okay, I'm going to pop this off my finger so I can pop it on here better. I can do this upside down better. This sounds really silly, doesn't it? I can pop this on upside down. So much easier than if I put it on up the correct way. Okay, so there's my Merry Christmas written on, or glued on there, because it's actually a peel off. Pop this one onto there. I'm going to pop some dimensions onto this one, over the top of this. Put 4 on here because we want it to stay on nice and firmly. And once we're happy with that, we pop them off. Oops. And we just knock everything else all over the floor. No, we don't. Center our piece. Then we're going to use a small dimension just to glue these two pieces together to make a lovely poinsettia flower in this beautiful green. And then we will pop them onto here like so, with another couple of dimensions. We will put down this arm here in the middle and down this one here, so that it stays steady. Blah. Like so. Oh, how wow, doesn't that look gorgeous? And I'm just going to use one of these to pop in the middle here, in the red. Oops, in the middle, not on there somewhere close to the middle, in the middle please. Oh, we might as well put a couple more. There we go, one there and one here. Okay, so that's our card for today. I hope you've enjoyed that. That's a gorgeous card. As I say, the band pulls off beautifully, and it's beautifully, so it can sit with the card just gorgeously, like so, when it's sitting on the side. Putting the band on is easier from the top, because you can bring it down to the join line, and it will be easier for you to pop it on. So that's my card for today. If you'd like the written tutorial for this card, please head over to Diane for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials. There you will find the written tutorial, and it's in imperial and metric measurements. If you've enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos. Plus, the more subscriptions I get, the more coverage I get, which means that more people can see these beautiful creations that I make. And I always answer everybody's message, even if it is just to say thank you. So I will see you again next time. Bye for now.